Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for October 31, 2023. And in the news this evening, 18-year-old man accused of stabbing another to death in St. Catherine. An 18-year-old man has been charged with murder after he allegedly stabbed a man to death with a knife during a dispute in Lakespen Road, Spanish Town, St. Catherine on October 6. Charged is Kishma Houghton, a ramp assistant of Davidson Crescent, Kingston 20. Dead is a 35-year-old Rayon Mendez, also a ramp assistant of Seaview Gardens, Kingston 11. Reports are that on Friday, October 6, about 9 a.m., Mendez and Houghton had a dispute, during which Mendez was reportedly stabbed 4 times with a knife. Mendez was treated at a hospital in St. Catherine before being transported to a medical facility in Kingston, where he succumbed to his injuries. Houghton was arrested and charged on Sunday, October 21, following an interview in the presence of an attorney. Kingston man charged after allegedly inserting finger into man's anus, robbing him of his clothes. A 26-year-old man has been charged after he allegedly inserted his fingers into another man's anus before robbing him of his clothes along Halfway Tree Road, Kingston 10 earlier this month. Charged with robbery with aggravation and a grievous sexual assault is Siobhan Green, a laborer of Regent Street, Denham Town in Kingston 14. Reports are that about 5 a.m., the victim was walking along the above-mentioned roadway when Green attacked him and forced him into a nearby gully. Green then forced him to take off his clothes before inserting his finger into his anus. He also robbed him of his clothes. The victim escaped and later made a report to the police. On Monday, October 23, Green was apprehended by the police and was later charged after an interview on Monday, October 30. Man charged for chopping cop who shot his son freed. A St. Catherine father who was charged with wounding a policeman with a machete after the cop shot his son was freed in the St. Catherine Circuit Court on Tuesday afternoon. He is Denver Needham of Eltham, Spanish Town in St. Catherine. The 7-member jury retired for 30 minutes and returned a unanimous not guilty verdict. Justice Bertram Morrison then thanked the jury and told Needham he was free to go. The prosecution led evidence that about 5 p.m. on July 1, 2020, the policeman was on foot patrol in the Spanish Town bus park when he instructed Needham's son Alex to move the bus he was driving. Alex refused and was grabbed by the policeman. During a physical tussle, he was shot by the policeman. Needham, who was nearby, intervened with a machete and chopped the policeman on the right wrist. He then fled. In his caution statement, Needham said that he only intended to slap the policeman but accidentally wounded him. The injured policeman was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was treated for his injuries. Needham's son succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. An investigation was launched which resulted in Needham's arrest and charge. He was defended by attorney-at-law Asot Buchanan. Convicted contractor killer of Portland businesswoman denies a line to get a plea deal. The convicted contractor killer in the murder of Portland businesswoman Tonya McDonald this morning rejected a suggestion that he is a liar and a con man who had scammed the Office of the Director of Prosecutions out of a 10-year plea deal. The prosecution's star witness also denied that it was he who had murdered the 32-year-old woman and had hatched the murder plan with a former employee of Tonya's husband. Denver Lynn Bobla Minot had testified that Everton Beach Stout McDonald had offered him $3 million to murder his wife Tonya. The 48-year-old fisherman pleaded guilty to his role in Tonya's July 2020 murder and was sentenced to 19 years in prison with an order that he served 10 years before being eligible for parole. Minot earlier testified that he was unable to murder the woman with whom he had a secret love affair and instead subcontracted Oscar Barnes. According to him, he lured the woman to a deserted area in Sherwood Forest in Portland and watched as she was stabbed multiple times, allegedly by Barnes. Beachy, who had his head down for most of the hearing, and Barnes are both on trial in the Home Circuit Court for Tonya's murder. Minot, under further cross-examination from attorney-at-law Christopher Townsend, also denied a suggestion that he had lied about meeting BJ in his office and that he made him an offer to kill his wife. "You never have no telephone conversation with Mr. McDonald about killing his wife," Townsend suggested. "Him called me enough times," Minot replied. Not pleased with the follow-up suggestion that he is lying, a slightly peeved Minot said, "Me did you not go tell me. I hear you hear, but I see me see." Townsend further told him that he was the one who had killed Tonya and had planned her murder with someone else. Minot, after inquiring about the person's identity and being told that it was his friend, testily said, "Just like a friend, Mr. McDonald, we are tell lie for." Townsend then suggested that he had not only scammed the DPP's office out of a plea deal, but was also trying to scam the court and the jury with lies. Minot, who had earlier denied that he was scamming the director of public prosecutions and that she needed her justice, however, disagreed. Driver charged for fatal stabbing of another in Clarendon. The police in Clarendon have charged a man for the stabbing death of another motorist during an argument after a minor hit along Decoy Road in Tollgate. Charged with the murder is Christopher Sullivan, also known as Bread, a 39-year-old laborer of Ebony Park housing scheme in Tollgate. The deceased has been identified as 28-year-old Okan Kelly, a supermarket employee of Decoy district in Tollgate. The incident happened on Sunday. It is reported that Kelly was driving a gray Toyota Axio motor car along the Decoy main road when the mirror of his vehicle hit the mirror of a Toyota Probox being driven by the accused. Both drivers stopped and an argument developed between them, during which the accused allegedly used a knife to stab Kelly in his upper body. Kelly managed to drive himself to his house and was later assisted to hospital, where he died while undergoing treatment. The police were then contacted, and on arrival, Kelly's body was seen with a stab wound to the left shoulder, arm, and the left side of his upper back. Meanwhile, scores of tributes have been pouring in on social media platforms for Kelly, with friends and relatives describing him as a quiet and humble individual who was most undeserving of such a tragic demise. Up to October 28, the parish of Clarendon has seen an 18.2% increase in murders, having recorded some 91 homicides compared to 77 over the 2022 corresponding period. Vlogger Andre Stevens to pay damages for defaming investment banker Ryan Strachan. The Supreme Court has awarded a default judgment in favor of investment banker Ryan Strachan in his defamation suit against the vlogger Andre Stevens. The judgment was awarded on October 3 after Stevens failed to formally acknowledge the lawsuit that was brought against him. As a result, the court will next assess the damages, cost, and the interest that Stevens will have to pay to Strachan. Strachan argued that Stevens made gravely defamatory videos and images that were published through his social media accounts on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The comments related to the fraud hit brokerage and investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited. In March, Stevens said he had received a demand letter and that his lawyers would deal with it. The lawsuit was subsequently filed. Citing postings on February 5, 7, and 18, attorney Trevor Cuff of the law firm Cuff and Shaw said Stevens maliciously besmirched the reputation of his client, who is an eminent and highly respected senior member of his profession. It is hard to imagine a more damaging series of libels of our client, which are calculated to cause him serious and lasting damage, both in his public and private life, reflecting as they do on his integrity, honesty, his professional competence, and his motives, Cuff wrote. Strachan is currently the Vice President of Investor Relations at GK Capital, the investment and advisory subsidiary of food and financial services company Grace Kennedy Limited. In January, Strachan confirmed that he joined the SSL as a wealth advisor in September 2011 and later supervised Genon Panton, the former wealth advisor, accused in the SSL fraud, for 1 year. He left in August 2015. But Strachan said he had no reason to question the Panton's actions in managing an account held by sport legend Usain Bolt's holding company, WellGen. He noted that audit trails for which he was not responsible may have picked things up. I was never made aware of any concerns, so I can't speak to that because that was never at my level of authority, he said. Gully Bop's brother relates his final moments before hospitalization. Andrew Chamberlain, a brother of dancehall entertainer Gully Bop, said that the body specialist DJ collapsed at his doorway just 1 week before he was hospitalized. Bob told me he was sick a week before he went into the hospital. He dropped down at my doorway. He knocked on my door. He had been calling me, and me go out there and see him on the ground. Him say, "Brother, me a dead." And me say, "No man, you're not dead." And he say, "Yeah man, me a dead man," Chamberlain told the news. Gully Bop asked if he had any painkillers, but Chamberlain answered in the negative and suggested his older brother seek medical attention. "You don't need painkillers. You want to go a doctor, man," Chamberlain related. He complained he wanted something to eat, so me chef up something and give him. And him say him can't eat the food cause him can't keep down that. And him say him want to buy food in the square. But me tell him say a doctor you fi go. The 52-year-old younger brother of Gully Bop said. Chamberlain and Bop share the same mother but have different fathers. Chamberlain said his brother offered him money to replace the food he had just cooked for him, but he refused it. Me tell him, "Me no want your money," and me give him some juice me have in the fridge, and him drink it, and him say, "This make me feel better." And me say, you hungry, you not eat." And me say, "Some of them food them a give me no taste good." I told him to get a drive and go to the doctor. This last trip had the longest Bop stay at hospital, Chamberlain, who is a welder, said. Gully Bop is survived by his children, Nikki, Debrica, and Nico Malcolm. At the time of his death, the work of a DJ was reportedly living with his mother in Grandspan, a far cry from the dizzying heights of fame he reached between the years 2014 and 2016, when he was the toast of the dancehall world. "We live in the same yard, but he comes by when he feels like it," Chamberlain explained. Chamberlain doesn't know how the funeral arrangements of Gully Bop will proceed, given that he was believed to be almost penniless at the time of his death. "That's a question the family have to discuss together," he said.